Okay, so today we're going to look at solving equation problems. As I've already said to you, so often in life, you don't get the question mathematically in terms of tell me just with numbers. It's often written with a lot of words, and you have to find out what the actual mathematical question is. It's like we're taking it written in English, we're translating it into maths, the language of maths, we find the answer and then we translate it back into English. It's a language word. It's sometimes difficult, so we need to work carefully on it. So here I've outlined a number of steps. Firstly, read the problem carefully and answer what needs to be found. Okay? What I often do is I take out some pens and I start highlighting, circling, underlining, whatever, so that I might know what I'm trying to find. Use a variable to represent the unknown quantity. Write the problem as an equation, solve the problem, answer the problem. So let's have a look at some questions. I've already written these ones out for today. So our first example, when 3/4 of a number is decreased by 8, the result is 46. What is the number? As I said, one of the first things I like to do, get out a pen, start underlining what I need to do, or circling. I can see already I've got some numbers in this question. 3/4, 8, 46. There's three numbers. I've got a variable, a number. I don't know what that is. So I might let that be x. What happens? Well, here I can see I actually have of, you should recognise that as a times. Thank you. You can see decreased, minus, result, equals. And so then we've got to find what is this number, which we're going to let be x. So hopefully we can now see there's actually some information here that we can use to answer this question. Read it carefully. As I say, circle, highlight, underline, whatever helps you find the information you need. Use a variable. I'm going to suggest x. So to start with, let the number be x. Sorry, that's not how I write it. Let's try that again. Let the number be x. Write the problem as an equation. Well, let's have a look. The problem. 3/4 of a number. 3/4 times, we know of is times, x is decreased. Well, we know that's minus by 8. When we do that, the result equals is 46. I hope now you look at that and you say, oh, that looks like a maths problem. I can now solve this. What I want to do is find x. So I look at what I've got here and I start to balance up my equation. Plus 8 on both sides. I then end up with 3/4 of x is equal to 46 plus 8, which is 54. Now 3/4, in my head I'm feeling a bit slow today. My brain's not working as quick as I'd like. So, to begin with, I'm just going to times by 4. You could, of course, just quickly chuck it in your calculator. And you end up with here, 3x equals now 54 times 4. 54 times 2 is 108. Multiplied by 2 again is 216. X, let me show you what I'm doing. Again, I now divide by 3 on both sides. Does somebody quickly have a calculator can tell me what is 216 divided by 3? As I said, my brain's feeling a bit slow today. Lewis, have you got it?
87. 72.
I got 72.
72 it is.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with 72. Now, I get to my answer. I've solved the problem But then step 5 is answer the problem. My question is, what is the number?
So the number is 70.
I write that answer. The number, I don't want to change pens, let's try that again. The number is 72. What about the second question? It looks different. Again, I want to go through, I want to circle numbers. I'm doing it in blue. So if a rectangle is 3 times as long as it is wide, its perimeter is 60 centimetres. I've got to find its dimensions. That's what I'm trying to do with this question. What other things do I notice? What multiplications or symbols? I've got a times, okay? I've also got, and that's almost sort of all I've got, but I've got some other information that is helpful. It's 3 times as long as it is wide. That's helpful information. Long and wide. Just get a look at that. Perimeter is 60. What I actually have here with this is, how was I doing that before? This one? With this is, I've got an equals. So let's work out what information I've got. What have I got to find? Its dimensions. Sometimes I actually find it really helpful if I just draw a diagram. So let's draw a diagram for this question. I've got a rectangle. What information do I have? The rectangle is 3 times as long as it is wide. Well, let's let the width be x. If it's 3 times longer, that means that's 3x. Because it's a rectangle, we know this must be x as well, and this is 3x. Hopefully now, we've got a bit of an idea of what we've got. So, what I've actually done here is to let the width be x. That's my variable. My variable is x. I've got to find the dimensions, I've got to work through to get this. What I do know is the perimeter in this question is equal to 60. From my diagram, which I can see, my perimeter should also be equal to x plus 3x plus x plus 3x. I can edit that out. Focus. I simplify what I've got here. X plus 3x plus x plus 3x is 8x. So what I actually have now is 8x is equal to 60. And all I need to do is find x. So I solve it. That cancels out. X is equal to 60 over 8, 7.5. But I must go back to the question, find its dimensions. So, therefore, the width of the rectangle, is 7.5. And what was I dealing with? Centimetres, so it's centimetres. The length is 7.5 times 3. Now I could have done that here. So up here, 3x is equal to 3 times 7.5, which is 22.5 centimetres. So the length is 22.5 centimetres. That's the process to solve equation problems. We read the problem, we find the information, what needs to be found. We use a variable We write the problem as an equation, we solve the equation, but then we make sure we go back and answer the question.